Week 3 was an interesting one in fantasy football. I have one 2-0 team and I got demolished. And my 2 winless teams, I won both of those by huge margins, 30, 40 points. And it was just very interesting. You know, a few jumps, a few falls, just an all-around interesting day of football. Let's get started with Mike Williams, who I picked as the sleeper of the year. He was actually the leading receiver for Tampa once again. That was mostly, though, just because VJ got shut down. The entire Tampa offense got manhandled. But like I said, Mike still has the upside simply because, you know, every single time that Vincent Jackson went out on a right, you had 5 Cowboys defenders around him. And that's a trend you're going to see against basically every defense that he matches up against. He is a high-risk player just because he's going to get that kind of coverage every day. And then you go to Tennessee, where they finally won a game in overtime, but that was actually due more to their defense and special teams. Chris Johnson still can't seem to get himself going. And then we head up north to Baltimore, where the Ravens won a very close game against New England. Dennis Pitta was very highly targeted once again, and he had 50 receiving yards and a touchdown for a solid 11 points, his second double-digit point total of the season. No, he's pretty good as a backup in case of like injuries and stuff. No, I only picked Pitt up because I had Gates, and he was supposed to be healthy this year. He got injured like week 1. He's just anyways. So yeah, he's a good substitute depending on matchups, and he's also good in PPR leagues, deeper formats. I would also like to point out that I never told anyone to sit Larry Fitzgerald. I need to say that. I merely pointed out the fact that he was in a seemingly unfavorable situation and he's a risky play for right now. But I myself did start both him and Torrey Smith and got plenty of points from both of them. These are 2 very explosive players. Now, if you start them, they carry some risk. Because Larry Fitzgerald did have 2 very disappointing week 1s. Only 63 yards in week 1, only 4 yards in week 2, and I almost considered sitting him out in week 3. I started him anyways, and he got me those points. And with Torrey Smith, week 1, week 2, he was getting 2 catches in each of those. It just happened to be that one of those catches was 50 yards. So these 2 guys, they haven't really established themselves as the most consistent options in fantasy, but they are very explosive playmakers who there is risk in starting them, but if you take the chance of putting them in your lineup, there is a very high reward when they are playing at the top of their game. So I just needed to point out that I never told you to sit Larry Fitzgerald. I had him in my starting lineup. I won the game. I just needed to point that out. And right now for this week, the biggest and most important thing happening is injuries. There are so many of them. So let me just look at these real quick. There's a few to go over. The biggest and most the Jets lost Darrelle Revis for the year, and he is without a doubt the best cornerback in football. And the defense will not be the same without them. So if you have the Jets defense like I do, start them with caution. Now, they are still a great club, so don't just drop them without hesitation, because they've still got a lot of great defenders over there with Bart Scott and LaVon Landry and Antonio Cromartie. They are weaker without Revis. So look to see if there are other options available, but don't just drop them for anyone. I would, though, recommend Atlanta and Arizona for the moment, because both defenses have performed well this season, and not only do they have more fantasy points than the Jets this season, they're surprisingly available in a few leagues. I mean, they're available in 2 out of 3 of my leagues. and they've both been consistently putting up double-digit scores in every week. And so yeah, if I can get Atlanta, I have no problem losing the Jets. Atlanta has been playing some fantastic defense so far, and Arizona as well. They've been playing top-notch all year long, and they have some good matchups coming ahead. And in halfback news, Reggie Bush and C.J. Spiller both left the field with injuries and could potentially miss some time. At least that's what we thought. Bush, it seems like he probably could play next week. Even if he does, though, Thomas, no, he's back from his injury. He did well last week, and he took he had a touchdown run even before Bush left with the injury. So both of them have values. Both of them have values, and I wouldn't really consider them must-starts at the time. Bush because of his injury, Thomas because he has yet to establish himself as a consistent player and a starter, but he can vulture some goal line carries. So both of them are good for flex players. And then you also have C.J. Spiller out at least for this week, possibly next week too. At least for next week and possibly the one after, I should say. Weeks 4 and 5. And Tashard Choice, he had 91 yards, averaging over 4 yards a carry. So next week, Spiller is out. There is a possibility that Jackson will return to play, but that's not guaranteed yet. So I'm going to recommend at least picking up Tashard Choice if you need extra options, because he is a good player. He has a little bit of versatility. He's shown some toughness. I've been following his career since he was a rookie when he played in Dallas. He has a lot of value. There is some decent upside, at least for this week. But it is only a 1 week thing, though. So don't drop Spiller to pick up Choice, because then someone else is gonna go pick up Spiller, and yeah, you're gonna regret that. Anyways, Darius Heyward suffered a serious neck injury. Mathew Stafford, he pulled a hammy. Mcgahee and Tamme are both hurt, which will affect Peyton Manning's value. The Denver running game is weaker without Mcgahee. Tamme is one of Peyton's favorite targets, so defenses will be able to. It'll be harder for Peyton to eat apart defenses right now, which he hasn't really been doing up to the level that you'd usually expect from him. Anyways. And the Tampa defense has actually played pretty well this season. But now Adrian clayborn is hurt and is probably going to miss the rest of the year. That defense is weaker without him. And the same goes for the Cowboys, who have lost Barry Church, the safety, to an Achilles injury. The secondary was already the weakness of the Cowboys, and the defense, it just got weaker. And Laurent Robinson got a concussion, but he hasn't done that much this year anyway, so he probably won't be missed in too many leagues. I can't think of anyone who starts him. I think the most important injury, though, that we have to talk about is Trent Williams, offensive lineman for the Washington Redskins. This definitely will have an effect on that offense. The Redskins have not played a single division game yet. So RG3 will have to go up against Demarcus Ware twice. He'll have to go up against the Giants D-line, which has Tuck, OC, and Pierre-Paul twice. And he'll have to go up against that Eagles D-line, which is possibly one of the deepest D-lines in the league, twice. All without his best pass protector. That's just something to keep in mind for the future, okay? And we're gonna end this with saying that, well, Mikel Shaw came back from suspension and he dominated the backfield carries for the Lions. Kevin Smith completely disappeared.